Hey, I'm Riley, one of the co-founders of Endler, and I'm excited to share with you today a quick demo of our new platform, Deep Insight. Deep Insight is a digital twin. It's a 3D environment, but it's a bit different than your conventional digital twin. It's built off your engineering, design, operations data. And what that means is it's actually very fast to get set up and get value from it. As well as that, it builds a fantastic platform to explore, identify new trends, understand what's going on in your field in a way that you just couldn't before. I've just quickly given you a little glimpse around what that kind of environment looks like. And I'm gonna dive a little deeper into some of the things you can do. So to begin with, you'll see I've got a gathering network or pipeline network kind of shown here. It's colored by elevation. You would have noticed I can actually see the terrain here. But what I can do as well is I can add other overlays onto the map, which is quite helpful. So I'll turn on vector map tiles, and that'll let me see some of the road networks that are around and other facilities. Let's label something with an annotation. I'll call this the processing gas facility. Let's tag it with facility and then hit save. I'll now see that there. I could add other layers in here as well, such as maybe an emissions map. I could add proprietary data such as roads within properties. I could add lease boundaries and so on. And you'll see now I can also see my wells below the surface there. In this demo though, I kind of want to look deeper just into some of the aspects of the subsurface within Deep Insight. So let's turn off our surface pieces of data, and let's also just adjust our scale so that we can see our wells a bit more realistically. So there we go. So it'd be interesting to understand what's going on here between the vertical and the horizontal wells. And the way I can really just navigate this scene and all the data that's within here is the visual is tightly coupled to the data tables. And the data tables allow me to do all sorts of filtering and to sort of toggle, view, look in on stuff within the scene. So I'll turn on some formations here. And now I can really quickly see that the horizontals seem to have been targeting this green one and the verticals, the deeper one. So let's find out what the names of those formations are. Tangalooma is the green one, and then the lower Juanda is the bottom one. Now, I think the horizontals are a bit more visually interesting. So let's find out what's going on with them and dive in a little bit deeper. So let's turn off the verticals. So we can do that by filtering down. So you'll see here, I've searched for octo. That's highlighting me the octo wells and graying out the other stuff. I'll actually just fully turn those off now so that I can just look at the horizontal ones, and let's view one. Let's get in close and check it out. We can see it's colored. In this case, it's been colored by dogleg severity. I can sort of see how it's been a couple of formation picks have come off from this point. I could go in there and edit those, but what I want to show you is how we can have a look at a cross section. And I'd like to look at a cross section of maybe this one and this one. So Octo 0 and Octo 1. Let's just turn those on, because all I need to do for a cross section is have the wells of interest there, and then I just hit the cross section button, and there we go. I'm now looking at a cross section. Let's turn on all the formations and then have a orbit out of this to understand how they sort of piece together a little bit. In fact, let's exit out of the cross section now and focus in on the Tangalooma again. but I would like to color it before going back into the cross-section view. So I'm just going to show you how you can apply a color scale. So in this case, I'm going to use a custom color scale, and I'm going to color it by slope, and I'm going to use a color scale that's going to let us actually see the wells plus the formation. So there we go. We've got some contour lines, we've got the slope being colored so we can see the sloped and the flat sections. And let's jump back into the cross-section view now, and we can see how that looks for this particular well. So we can see this one's gone through a really flat section, which is, I suppose, interesting. We could dive deeper now into some of the drilling data and see if that really shows us anything. So to do that, let's have a look at some logs and pull up just a demo data set, a demo log set. I've got some previously generated coloring functions, so we can see those. I could pick some different ones off, but I want to show you how we can make our own in a really easy to understand way. So let's call it Analyze Horizontal. We want to apply a color scale just to the horizontal section of the well. It's given us some just demo rule set there, and some boilerplate code. But let's pretend that I don't really know how to write this JavaScript code myself. Fortunately, all I've got to know how to do is describe what I want. And in this case, what I want is, I just want to color the horizontal section with a traffic light system, and the other sections with white. And then I'm just going to tell it how we can calculate the horizontal section. The horizontal section is where the data, so that's the data we've got, and where the inclination, this is the channel in our inclination data, you can kind of see it there, is between 85 and 95. So that's going to be roughly horizontal, right? I'll hit generate, and then it's gonna just do that for me. I'll jump back to the well. It's done that thinking for me. I'll hit save on it because I think I like it, and load it in. And there we go. We've got it right there. How cool is that? We could go in and edit it a little if we like and see what it's doing. Unfortunately, I don't have time to do that, but there's also an AI edit tool, so that allows you to make custom edits to what's going on in a really powerful way. The final thing I want to show you, with that AI editing piece, like, you could build quite complex rule sets there to look at all sorts of different things like time in zone, permeability, drilling data, basically whatever channels you've got. You could spend some time in there building out a rule set in order to color and identify pieces in your data of interest and see it in the context of other things that are going on. The final thing I want to show you, though, is just how you can come in here and create a new well. So let's turn on all the wells again so that we can see where there's space to add a new one. And let's do that in here. So all I've got to do is create a new well. It's going to be a horizontal. I'm going to pick a new point. I'll pick it via the plot right here. And now it's going to be a lot easier for me if I do this in the cross-section view. So I'll just grab Octo 1 again, toggle in on that, grab the cross-section, I'll grab the perspective camera, and now I can simply add some points and create us a new well path. So I'm going to target basically intersecting this seam again, and as a starting point, just roughly following the trajectory of that other well there. And then we'll move out of the cross-section view in order to make sure that we're targeting and looking like the trajectory is good. And then the final step of this is you'd submit it, it'll go back to the back end, and then it'll be optimized against other criteria like proximity, dogleg severity, torque and drag. I want this to be on the eastern side of the well. The cross-section slice there is about 250 foot wide, so that's a decent reference point for me in order to help space this out. I'll just try and do this somewhat quickly. There we go, sort of looking decent there. I'll exit out of the cross-section now so that we can place our points vertically correct. So I'm just looking for it to essentially be on the surface there. So this could be a surface that someone in the reservoir team's produced. It could be a pick that the geology team has come up with, either based on other drills or interpretation of a seismic layer to produce a horizon. But there we go. That's our new well put in. I'd love to show you more in here. Unfortunately, that's all I've got time for though. Apparently it's got to stay nice and short. But I hope you've seen some really cool stuff in there that you think could add a lot of value to your company. And it would be fantastic to hear from you, to spend a bit more time showing you some of the other stuff that can be done. Perhaps some of those existing optimization workflows we have in there for well design, pipeline design. Perhaps you'd like to learn more about, or even try with your own data, how you could use it as a visualization or data checking tool. Or perhaps you've actually got a workflow that is difficult, or you're trying to optimize further. And then we could explore how our team could build you a optimization, auto design, automation type workflow on top of the Deep Insight platform. So thanks very much for making it to this point, and I look forward to hearing from you.